May 10th, 1996, 2:47 p.m. South summit of Mount Everest. The wind is a blade. A radio crackles. A voice punches through the static. Cold and windy. The air is thin. Two figures crouch in the spindrift, the world below a maze of cliffs. One is a guide, the other a postal worker who refused to let a dream die. They are minutes past their turnaround time, hours from safety, and one storm away from becoming a lesson. The cold will decide everything. You do not negotiate with cold at high altitude. You obey it. Break the small rules, and the cold punishes you in big ways. Hands don't work, headlamps dim, decisions slow, teams unravel. This story isn't about heroics. It's about physics and humility. The overlooked detail in every cold disaster is time. Time is heat. Time is life. The 1996 Everest season began crowded and optimistic. Multiple expeditions aimed for a single summit window, creating bottlenecks in the death zone. A fragile plan depended on everything going right. It didn't. On May 10th, a blizzard slammed into teams high on the ridge. 8 climbers died. Momentum is a drug in the high mountains. You've paid a fortune, trained for months, and the roof of the planet is within reach. You hear the summit calls on the radio and you keep moving. The small rules bend.
Then they break. The names are etched into history. Rob Hall, Scott Fisher, Yasuko Namba, Beck Weathers. They climbed into the storm. Some came back, many did not. The first lesson is this: cold removes options faster than you can make decisions. The rope delays and crowding at the Hillary step turned a precise schedule into a traffic jam in the worst place on Earth to wait. December 1944, the Ardennes forest. A quiet sector explodes. Snow falls from a dead gray sky. Engines refuse to start. Soldiers improvise boots, share rations, and stare into the white, hoping the next shell misses. Cold on a battlefield isn't scenery. It's a second enemy that attacks logistics, morale, and judgment all at once. The history books talk about strategy. The veterans talk about boots, socks, and fire. The pattern repeats. Survival isn't a speech. It's a checklist you repeat when your hands don't want to move. The best technology is often just a system of small habits done on time. Warm, dry socks at night. A windbreak when you stop. Fuel before you feel hunger. In war and in mountains, small habits compound into survival. Back on Everest, midday, May 10th. The clock keeps moving. The turnaround time, the line in the snow that keeps people alive, blurs under pressure. The blizzard hits. Visibility collapses. Oxygen runs out on the way down. Teams fragment into little islands, each one writing its own story against the wind. We know what happened because survivors described rope tangles and high winds, snow erasing tents, climbers huddled in a circle trying not to fall asleep. The lesson is blunt. Cold steals your hands first, then your judgment. You cannot clip into a rope when you can't feel your fingers. You cannot navigate when your brain is on half power. The rules are made on warm days and must be obeyed on cold ones. So here is the blueprint, what you do when everything fails. First, start with the clock, not the summit. Your turnaround time is a life insurance policy. That rule was broken on May 10th, and the mountain took payment in full. Second, respect bottlenecks. A queue at 28,000 feet turns cold into a weapon. Every minute waiting drains heat and time. Third, manage sweat like a surgeon. Open vents on the move, seal them when you stop. If your base layer is soaked when the storm hits, you are already losing. Fourth, keep the group a group. Cold isolates. Whiteouts shrink your world to the beam of your headlamp. The rescues that night worked where leaders saw and acted, dragging people toward life one rope length at a time. And finally, rethink heroism. Real heroism in the cold often looks like turning back early, giving up your summit for a safe descent. The rescues that night were superhuman because they were simple. repeated acts of going back out when every instinct screamed to stay in the tent.
Remember, if you ever need to sell your house fast, as it is condition anywhere in the U.S., either to stop foreclosure, avoid county tax auction, unwanted property, or too many repairs, go to boricina.com/DHHA or call them at 877-658-8303 for no obligation cash offer and get a relief under house burden.
Sometime there is a simple way on how to relieve or get a treatment for the problem. Naturally from an ebook, How to Get Rid of Health Issues, Quickly Without Medication. It's the step-by-step guide you can use right from your kitchen to reclaim your health naturally by someone who's been there. If you're tired of being told medication is your only option, this could change everything for you. Your body has an incredible ability to heal itself while you sleep when you give it the right ingredient. That is available at local grocery store, or you can order them online. Visit howtogetridofhealthissues.com to get your step-by-step guide today.
Night, a storm at full voice. A small circle of climbers fight the treacherous comfort of sleep that comes before the end. Through the gusts, a light appears. It's a guide who has already climbed the mountain and descended. He's carrying tea. He's carrying hope. He takes one person at a time, sometimes just a few steps, and tries to bend the odds. He can't save everyone. He saves who he can. That is what rescue looks like in a blizzard. In another part of the storm, a climber presumed dead wakes under a shell of ice. He stands, stumbles, and moves toward blue shapes that might be tents or hallucinations. He keeps moving because faces he loves appear in his mind, telling him to try. When the storm finally cleared, the mountain wrote its ledger. Guides were gone. Clients who had dreamed for years did not come home. The disaster of May 1996 became a case study, a cautionary tale. The entire guiding industry looked in the mirror, and the questions began. Books were written, films were made, and the documentary record remains raw. Voices crack. There is no soundtrack for the wind except the wind.
So, what saves lives when the temperature drops? Ask a soldier in winter. Ask a Sherpa in a storm. The answers rhyme. Respect the weather. Watch each other. Do simple things perfectly, especially when your fingers no longer listen to your brain. Rescue, it turns out, is logistics plus courage. Courage without a plan is a candle in the wind. The rescues that succeeded that night combined both. Warm liquid, a rope, knowledge of the tent layout, a path you know by heart. This hard-won knowledge became a framework, a map. The first rule: protect your turnaround time like a sacred object. The 1996 timeline exposed how fragile summit plans become when even one thing is late. The second rule: fuel every hour. In a whiteout, tea is not comfort. It's a tool. Rescue stories from that night begin with someone handing someone else something hot, then walking. And the final unbreakable principle: summiting is optional, returning is mandatory. In a storm, nobody is almost there. You are either on the safe side of the rule or you are not. It entered the language of mountaineering and, more importantly, the behavior on the mountain. The dead teach the living. And you don't need to be at 8,000 meters to use this. A winter road, a backcountry trip, a hike that runs late. The cold is democratic. It will test your plan. So check the weather. Write your turnaround time on paper. Tell someone what will make you turn around. Prepare one thing to use only if you stop. Back to May 10th, 1996. The radio, the wind, the small rules that grew large. The storm didn't care about reputations or dreams. It cared only about heat, wind, time, and decisions. The last radio calls from that ridge did more than mark a tragedy. They sent a message that crossed years and oceans. Respect the weather, keep your promises, save your warmth, watch each other. In the end, the cold takes what it will. Our job is to give it less,
one choice at a time.
Remember, your health is your wealth. Take care of it now, so it can take of you later. As daily health habit adjuster, make it simple as
Your wish is my command.